appreciation in the house with all of our guests and with all of our members. Let's give ourselves a round of applause. Nothing stops us here in this neighborhood. Now, you gotta cut this on. All right, that's probably better. Let me just introduce myself. I'm Stephanie Young. I think I'm far enough away back where I can pull this down, but I appreciate you all wearing your mask. You all understand the seriousness of where we are right now in this pandemic, what's happening, how hard the city of Detroit was hit. And so even with that, before we get into our anthem that we do at all of our Rosedale Park meetings, I would just like to stop right here and have a moment of silence for all of our neighbors who did not come of this on this side like us. We just want to remember them. It was a great thing. I don't know how many of y'all had an opportunity to go to Belle Isle and drive through there. That was a remarkable memorial for those that we love. So if you would all indulge me for just a quick moment of silence for our neighbors. Amen. Thank you all so much. And with that, I look to my left, your right. We are going to do now. You can sing in your mask if you'd like to, but we're asking no one to take their mask off. But we usually will sing the national, our national anthem. It's called the African American National Anthem. But we do it right here at Rosedale Park every single meeting because it's been important. We didn't just start doing this. This is what I need you guys to understand for some of our guests. We didn't just start doing this because of the Black Lives Matter movement and because of all of the social unrest. And we've been doing this because we've always seen and known the importance. So if you would, my friend here, Jim, could you start this and you can sing along if you like or just meditate on the words. They're also right on the back of your agenda.
Stand up.
Yes, we can stand. Yes, if you're able, please stand.
I think we're able.
Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Walker, you may be seated. That's amazing. Thank you, thank you. And think about those words. It's so timeless. Those words are timeless. And so we are not going to prolong the hour. We have a number of guest speakers for tonight. Our first guest speaker, Detroit City Clerk Janice Winfrey, unfortunately, advised that she was not going to be able to make it. I know she was the star attraction on tonight, but I talked to her today. She advised that her husband was not doing well. Something was going on, and that's not my business. She just simply said, my husband is not feeling well. And so there's nothing you can say to that, but we pray that he feels better. And that I hope to be able to bring her before you all again one day soon. But in the meantime, there are a number of issues that are on our top of mind as it relates to elections here in the city of Detroit, in the state, and as well at the national level. And we did not want to miss this opportunity to allow those that are here to express any concerns. If you have questions, now I had actually brought some index cards, Miss Pam, in the blue box. If you want to write down questions that we could take back to Miss Winfrey, I've already communicated that with her. And let me just tell you what our deal is. She couldn't be here. Well, I said, you're not quite off the hook. This is what we're going to do tonight, if you'll indulge us. I said, we have people coming who wanted to hear from you. They're going to have questions. We are going to collect those questions, and then we're going to give them to her, and we're going to post them on our e-blast. And not only can we post them in our e-blast, but we can also put them on our website as well. And so we'll give her those questions, and we'll give her and her office an opportunity to answer those questions, and then we'll make all of those responses public for you all. But I want to hear still just a few things that were pressing for you as it relates to the clerk's office. We know that there's now a partnership with the state, and so that's a great thing. We know that she'll be getting some help to come in and be certain that all of our absentee ballots are counted. I know how important that is. Maybe you all know I just ran for office. I can't imagine, what people are experiencing where you're these candidates and you're counting on these counts to be accurate. So that is very important. With that, it's to my understanding that there used to be 7 drop-off locations where you could drop your absentee ballot off securely and know that it will be collected and counted. But now that number has increased to 21, I believe. So we should have 21 drop-off sites. We are currently, for those of us particularly live around here, her office, Clerk Winfrey's office, is in negotiations with this wonderful establishment here at North Rosedale Park Community House to become one of those secure drop-off sites. We think that's amazing. They called and said, do you think this would be a good spot? They asked me, I said, absolutely. You have the ease of a circular driveway up front, and then we already have cameras, but then they will even install additional cameras if necessary. So that's something that we're pushing on. In addition to that, I'm not certain that they have all of the locations identified, but I am encouraging people to let us know. If there's a spot that you think they should include, we want to share that with the clerk's office. The clerk listens. She's not here tonight, but she does listen, and she has our ear. And so we want her to know that we're here to support her. We need our clerk to be successful. Isn't that right? There's nobody here that doesn't want that office running smoothly, and she needs to know she has our support. And so we're going to let her know about our questions. Is there one right now? Because right now we're being recorded. Anybody want to ask a question right now? Yes, sir, in the Detroit ad. I'll go with you first.
There's been conversation about possibly having federal troops, other type of military presence. President Trump has indicated that may happen. Are we aware in the city of Detroit if that will be the case?
So, and are you talking specifically on election night or in general?
Election day.
Election day.
He has threatened to have federal or other troops at different election sites. Is Janice Winfrey, are you aware that Detroit will be designated as one of the locations where these troops will be present?
So, I can't can't answer that in terms of the clerk's response. We'll be certain to capture that. But what I do know is we currently have lawyers all working on it from the city side, from the state side. There will be no takeover of our elections by any outside organization, be it federal or otherwise, unless we can give them right, unless there's some reason for it. And there's no reason, because now the state has partnered with us to ensure that everything is done decently and in order. You all know that in addition to the additional sites, the additional satellites, the satellite numbers are going up to 35, I believe, and that we're looking to hire 6,000 people. When I say we, I'm talking about the clerk's office, and not 2 weeks before the election, not 1 month before the election, but right now. They said right after Labor Day, they're looking to start hiring people so that they can be trained and probably go through simulation. It's important to go through what election day looks like. And so we'll be better prepared now that we know what to expect. The primary was a little bit of a test. And so we fell just a tiny bit short, but now we know what to do to correct it. And so there are people working on that. Even people at the NAACP are absolutely on top of federal troops coming in. So we're going to allow the clerk to give your 100% of city official answer, but that's what I have to offer for right now. I saw some other hands. Okay, and I'm going to go this way and go this way. Start with the yellow. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you mentioned they're looking to hire people.
Mm-hmm.
I know I went on a generic site on Instagram.
Is that cute?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, like you got the different hair vanity. Okay, I'm sorry. Keep going.
I went on Instagram and I signed up to volunteer or to work with the ballot, the poll, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Is there a link or is there a website where you can do that through the city clerk's office?
Yeah,
for
there's.
the upcoming election?
Yes, ma'am. You should be able to find that on the clerk's website page. It'll say job opportunities.
Okay.
And go there and you'll be able to get additional information for the various positions that they'll be looking for. And then we're going to go this
Is it
way.
through the Secretary of State or is it through
No,
the
this
city
is-
clerk's office? I went to the Secretary of State and filled in the Survey Monkey thing and said, hey, they're going to get back to me in my email. And this was like a week and a half ago and they never did.
They did.
They
I
did
know.
not.
I'm expecting it to show up on the city clerk's website. There could very well be on the state, but if it's on the Secretary of State, was it designated? Let me ask you this. Were you able to pick Detroit or Wayne County?
Wayne County, yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. Then we'll have to find out exactly how they're doing that. We can check with the Secretary of State's office. What's good to know, it's good to know people. So one of my friends works at the Secretary of State. Many of you may know him as Hester Wheeler. Hester works at the Secretary of State. He comes from the NAACP. He'll be able to give us some details on that. So is Priscilla McDonald here? Where's Priscilla? Where's our secretary? We don't see her. So we got it all being recorded so I can follow up and we can get these notes. So I got that. And these questions are going to be answered. And we're going to put them in our e-blast and they'll also be uploaded to our website. And yeah, it's she.
I want to know what the process is as far as the poll books, because they seem to be very important in helping in counting these votes and stuff.
Poll workers.
Yeah, for workers. My problem is, I worked at TCF and they did not have the poll books available when the accounting started. And that, to me, was a big issue for the simple reason that spoiled votes as well as good votes were being passed through because they didn't have the available poll books available to the table.
So right now, I'll repeat that. So the question was regarding a concern about the delivery time of the poll books for the people working at the TCF Center. And I'll assume we may very well be there again for the general election. The timeliness of getting that poll book to be able to accurately count and, do your checks and balances with the polls. That's a question we have to ask you. I don't know what takes so long. I don't.
A spoiled ballot shouldn't even be open, according to what we understand.
According to your training.
Right, but if you don't know whether it's a spoiled ballot or not, and you don't have this book to check it, it goes through as a legitimate ballot. That's not the way it's supposed to be done.
Okay.
So why are not these poll books and my other question was, the process that they have for this COVID-19,
Yes, ma'am.
the checking, to make sure that you got, they had us through training that we were supposed to go out, get these letters stating that we had been tested and clear of the COVID. But when we get down there, they have checked some of them, didn't check others, and they just looked at that piece of paper, if you had a piece of paper.
Okay. So what she said was she's concerned about the protocols around the COVID-19 and being certain that all of the workers provided the appropriate paperwork that shows they A, have been tested, and that B, they were negative for the disease. And how that process needs to be tightened up, because what you witnessed for yourself was it was a little loose. And you said some people produced paperwork, some people did not, and yet everybody was allowed to work. All right, so that is something that has been recorded. We're going to allow our Madam Clerk to address that. Thank you for bringing that up to us. Okay.
Okay. I have it's not a question, but it's just information. I'm one that has worked the polls, and I work our district over there at Thomas Edison. But I just like for people to know one of the things that has happened on several occasions, that because of President Trump also's remark, you guys have received, if you receive an absentee ballot, and if the weather is nice and you choose to come in and vote, you may come, but you need to surrender your absentee ballot, because you have everyone gets one ballot, and because we don't want any problems, whatever precinct, they have their own certain numbers, and you have to use their numbers there. And some people sometimes get upset because they have their absentee ballot, they didn't bring it with them, and it causes some problems, because things can be looked and checked in the computer system, but it does present a delay. So if you choose to vote absentee, which that's great, if you want to do that, but if you chose to come in and vote on that day, please bring the absentee ballot with you.
So to that, because I was out there at the polls, and we learned about that right there at the polls on August 4th.
Right.
But then there were people, as you're aware, who got their ballots, they requested it, but they didn't get it till after the election. So go ahead and explain to us how, because now they don't have anything to surrender.
But with all of that too, there is a report.
There's an affidavit.
We receive for everyone that receives an absentee ballot, and we even know when you mail it in, there is a report for which that even states the date on which it has been received. That information can be checked. It takes a little time, okay, but it does. We still can vote. You can still vote on that day. We just have to go back and retrack the absentee ballot and, void that out. Okay, but it helps us bring it with you.
Okay, so for the clarification, if you request an absentee ballot and you get your absentee ballot and you decide to go vote in person because you believe that your ballot will come, no, because some people just believe it won't come unless they go in person. So even they didn't know how they were going to feel. That's why they requested an absentee ballot. But when election day came, they felt good. And they decided to go in person. I'm telling you, that's how it is. And so what I'm saying is, you would need to bring your ballot with you to avoid any problems. They're saying the easiest thing to do is to bring your absentee ballot with you. That's the easiest thing. Now, some people, they didn't get it. They got mail and it never arrived to their house for whatever the reason. For whatever the reason, they just didn't get it, but it's in your system that they should have received it. There is an affidavit, to my understanding, because I haven't used it, but there is an affidavit that you can sign that says I received it, but I requested it, but I never got it, and then you're able to vote right there in person. The thing that really concerns me, and I saw it on August 4th, people being sent away to go get absentee ballots. And we don't know if those people will come back. So right now, family, the one thing that we want to leave here with is sharing the information. If you request it and you decide not to use it and go vote in person, bring it with you. That'll make life easier for everybody involved. Yes.
Are there any changes to the voting locations
like across the city? Like, will there be fewer locations or additional locations or big centralized locations like at Little Caesars Arena?
Right.
I just want to know what to expect.
Exactly. So right now, that's a good question that we have recorded. I don't know. If anything, I don't believe there's going to be any fewer locations because there are going to be more voters. I know that they're looking for additional satellites. So those satellite hours will be Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And then the closer we get to election day, they'll start to be open on Saturdays as well. So they're looking to increase that number to 35 across the city. But additional information we'll have for you uploaded, okay? Thank you. Let me just stay in order. Did I get you? Go ahead. One more.
Along that question,
Uh-huh.
will the residents get that information as to the new polling location and time? Because
Right.
I find that to be somewhat of a
How will
problem
the
for my
residents-
seniors.
Yes.
They may set up all these sites,
Mhm.
but let the residents know where they are.
That's it. So that's excellent. So we're requesting that our city clerk prioritize getting the information out sooner and a lot earlier. I experienced that too. Cheney Library has been closed for a while. Many of us who live around here know this. They had a boiler problem, and many people showed up during the presidential primary to vote at Cheney, and they did. There was not even a sign there that said it was closed. They came down to our polling precinct, Edison, and that's when they were told this is where you're supposed to stay. I ended up going home and typing up a sign that told people to just come down the street. I put that sign there. So we're really asking our clerk to be forward thinking about that for us. A, we need the information as soon as we can. Public service announcements, all of that. Make certain that our community groups that are well versed in getting the word out to their neighbors and their friends, that we know we don't mind doing that type of work. So we're going to ask that that happens, and then that, and I don't know if there's going to be a mailing or what, but these are the questions that we're asking. We're going ahead and we're documenting that right now, and then we're going to take a few more and then move into our next presentation. Okay.
My question is,
I know. Wait. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, I'll get another part. Hold on, Miss John. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
You're gonna have your turn again. Yes, ma'am.
So I worked I didn't work the polls, but I worked the outside past our literature,
Yes.
and I noticed that a lot of people came with their absentee ballots,
Mhm.
and they were told to bring them. I was at St. Paul Church of God in Christ. They were told that they could bring their ballots to them, but that's not true.
Oh no. Oh, I'm glad you brought that
So
up
I
to drop
had
it
to
off.
tell them to take it to, WC3. Well, a lot of them was mad. They didn't want to do that. But then I told them, you can also turn this ballot in and you could go ahead on and vote here. And they said, okay, that's what I'll do. But a lot of them didn't like the fact that they were giving the wrong information. So my question is, could, like, large polling sites have that box also there?
Right.
Drop-off box for ballots?
Just confirm. Okay, so the question is, this is excellent because you're right. When I was out there working the polls, that came up. People who want to drop off their absentee ballot, they showed up at their polling site and they're like, I don't want to go in and stand in line. I just want to drop this off here. Well, you can't do that. That's not a satellite site. And so that needs to be clear. Information is just powerful. Many times people just don't know. I grew up with that old saying, if you knew better, you'd what? You do better. So we just got to be educated on some of those things. So I'm glad that you brought that up. We're going to ask the clerk about that. People ask, well, can the voting site become a drop-off site? That would be too many drop-off sites. But we need to be educated on where the drop-off locations are so that people aren't going to the wrong place. And Ms. Pam went ahead and confirmed this is absolutely going to be one of our drop-off sites. So that's exciting here at the North Rosedale Park Community House. It's going to be one of our drop-off sites. So we're grateful that that got worked out with the leadership over here and with the clerk's office. I got a question here and I'm coming back to you. All right?
I wanted to let you know, Hazel, she works at the election. This is the one I told you that probably will come and can say a few more things.
Do you want to give any responses to some of the questions before we wrap up?
I'm listening to some of the questions.
Uh-huh.
And some of the information is accurate, but if you come to vote the day of the election, and the computer says, and it's the EPI that's at the computer tells you that they sent you an absentee ballot, you may still vote. And I don't know how the training has gotten mixed up here, but it only takes a second for you to fill out this little orange affidavit, it's a gold, half a sheet of paper.
Right.
You say, I did not receive it, they will let you go right through there and you can vote with no problem, as long as you are at your own personal precinct. However, you can vote at those satellites. You can vote anywhere at any satellite. It's just like going to the Department of Election downtown, and you can vote. And I'm happy that we are having this going on, so we can learn, we can educate ourselves, because we all have the right to vote, and we should vote.
Absolutely. So just to recap, she said kind of what we have landed on. You can go, you can vote. If you requested it, it's in their system and you didn't get it, they can see that and they will allow you to vote right there on the spot. You sign that affidavit. That's what we had already determined. But the other thing was if you received it, because it sounds to me, look here, y'all, how many of y'all here know Stephanie Young? Y'all know, many of y'all know me, y'all been around for a long time. So I keep stuff real. Because people don't want to go to their polling site and lie. Because now, if you just go and say, I don't know what happened to him, I ain't get it, then that way you don't have to be told to go back home and get it. So I want to be clear about that. If you tell the people you have it and it's on your kitchen table, y'all gonna make them go back home?
No. You don't have to have it.
Because that's what they've been telling
You
us.
don't have, if you do not have your ballot, you can vote just as easy as if you got it.
But then now we're talking.
You don't have it, I did not get it, you sign that affidavit. If you at your precinct, they give you a ballot and you go through there and vote. That is total protocol. You don't have to go and get the ballot. You don't have to go home.
You don't have to go get it, because they made people go home to get it.
They were ill-informed.
Okay, all right.
Because
We're not.
some of the people said they received the ballot and they left them at home and forgot them. But we were told that you have to still bring them in if you still want to vote. And we just spoiled that envelope. And then they
That's
could
what we were
vote.
told.
But majority of people still come back and do it. We haven't had no problem just saying, well, I ain't come back. They do come back.
They did come back because it was
They
important.
did come back.
It was
They
important.
did come back,
No,
yes.
no voter is ever supposed to be sent away.
Right, because you don't know if they're coming back. That was the big concern.
No voter should be sent back. Every voter has the right to vote. You explain yourself, you
Yes.
get your ballot, and you vote. If you don't
Very
bring
good.
it, you still can vote.
Okay, Ms. Patton, did you? I'm sorry, she hasn't had a change yet. Right behind. Yes, ma'am.
I think the thing that I'll stay away from everybody. I think the thing that we have to get to our city clerk is to let her know that this is the most important election of our lifetime, and that we are counting on her office to disseminate the information to every faith community, every community center, every community association. I even called her office and said, there are people that are here that are willing to help you right now.
Yes.
Because we've been told that this election is going to be invalidated and stolen and confused. And we have gone through the storm for too long to take that.
That's right.
And if we organize and get together and work together, if there's satellite areas, everybody's got to know, and that's got to be known a month before.
That's right.
Everybody's got to be told, vote as soon as you get that ballot. Don't sit there and hold on to it and look cute. And we've got to be told that because it is essential for us to have an overwhelming presence.
That's right.
As well as stay in the streets.
Yes.
That's all I got.
Amen. Amen. Ma'am.
My problem is, we were sequestered
Oh, when you were at TCF?
when we was at TCF. I'm right there at the door almost. I'm seeing people walk in, walk out, walk in, walk out. Security? Now who is security? Who is responsible for security? Security sit all night long in a corner under some steps, chit-chat with each other.
Well,
They
you know,
were not doing their job. And the ones that relieved them didn't do their job. Because there wasn't no reason why they should have been able to walk out and in like they wanted to. And all they did was ask them, would you please not leave out?
okay, gotcha.
So,
Recorded. Security, making certain that the security protocols are in place. We gotta move on. I've got 2 reminders that I'm past time on this subject. Right now I'm recording questions. And then you have one. Yes.
Without prolonging this, I think what's happening here is very telling. That everyone here is very community-minded.
Yes.
And very participatory in the election process. But even right here, there is confusion.
Absolutely.
So if you take this and multiply it times 100, that's what's happening around the city. So if Janice Winfrey's office, as she was saying, would put together an excellent question and answer
FAQs.
and get it out to everybody in multiple media outlets, that will answer a lot of questions, because you answered a lot of questions, but we are informed, concerned
Yes.
people here,
Yes.
and we still have questions.
Very
So,
good.
we gotta get that out. So question and answer from top to bottom, basics, and then a phone number to call if your question is not answered on that sheet.
Got it. So, Madam Clerk, we are requesting frequently asked questions. You can start with the ones that we're presenting on this evening, because we are a pretty astute group of residents that are asking just the right questions that are going to benefit all of us across the city of Detroit. We're not just asking for ourselves, we're asking for everybody. Sir, you have one comment, question really quick.
I just want to say, every single election, Detroit come in dead ass last. Always. It be Detroit and Miami-Dade. All the way. I'll be watching CNN, MSNBC, and they always say, oh yeah, waiting on Detroit, we'll always be last. Can we please, for this year, 2020, can we please not be last, Mrs. Winfrey? It's not your first year, not even the first decade. If we can please not be the last one, the whole nation waiting on Detroit or Miami. And I don't want us to be out of that category. I don't want us to be racing to be the last one.
Yes,
and that's
sir.
all I want to say.
Reese, we got it. Thank you so much. Thank you all. This has been great dialogue and conversation, and we needed it. And I'm looking forward to be able to provide you all with the responses to our questions and concerns. Next up on our agenda, do I have Emilio here from MDOT? Did he make it? Yay, there he is. Come on down. You are the next contestant. Oh, let's provide good information for the residents here in this neighborhood. We're so thankful to have partners like Emilio and MDOT. You know, the work that they're doing, let's just be honest, there is no construction job that we've ever had to be a part of and live around that was just fun. It's like going to the dentist, but it's necessary. And so we're looking forward to seeing the finished product. But right now, if you could give us an update and let us know some things that we might need to know, as well as it relates to how we can support you all's efforts. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Janice and Pam, for inviting us and allowing us to give this update. Stephanie, when she announced Janice not showing, I thought, great, I'll get some time. But so it's great. Thank you, Stephanie, again for allowing the community to ask questions. My name is Emil Asaf. I am the construction engineer for the Grand River project between Southfield and Berg. And we thank the community for being patient with us throughout the project. And a quick update, the project is install new water main and new pavement and streetscape. As of now, where we stand, the all water main work is done, connections are done, New services are done to all houses. We replaced all lead services with copper. And last week we were done with the asphalt paving. This week, scheduled the pavement marking in its final configurations and the signal work. We aligned Warwick to be on the same direction on both sides of Grand River. And what you expect next for upcoming work, in the next couple weeks there should be we should be finishing those islands in the middle and the pump outs, some sidewalk work. September 15 we should start with the furnishing, you know, the bus shelters, benches, resting benches, and bike racks, and so forth. Trees restoration will start soon. And the project is scheduled to be done November 15. And I think we're on schedule, if it's not a little ahead. And with that, I'll take any questions.
I have a two-part question. The work is beautiful that they've done, the islands in the middle and all that. Unfortunately, people like to drag race, and so they crash into them and they're destroyed. So are they going to be fixed, and are they going to put planters or something in the middle so it's very obvious that there's something in the middle of the street?
Repeat your question, sir.
So the question is, with the median islands now in the middle of the road, we have been seeing drag race and people speeding, and they have been hitting these islands, posing danger not just for themselves, for also adjacent properties and passing people. So three things we're working on. First, there will be delineators on these islands, so they will be visible, and the delineators is risen, so it's hard to drive over it. Second, we will have some planters. We will have grass in the middle. You don't see it now because it's still concrete. Third, we are working with the city to launch a law enforcement campaign to track these speeders or illegal racing. And we're thinking if with the campaign people will get the message that this is a serious area and they should not break the law in this area.
Part B to that question is the islands that have already been hit and the concrete's already broken off, laying in the street, will those be repaired before you leave?
What was laid in the street?
Concrete.
Oh,
The
concrete.
islands have been hit.
Repairing the
And
ones
they're
that
just
have already
being torn up. Or will you repair those before you leave?
The question is the already hit curb, pump outs, islands, would they be repaired and would we clean all the concrete? Yes and yes. So very soon we will start with these repairs. We're gonna cut those pieces and repair them, and we'll remove naturally any debris. By the time, again, we thank the community for their patience, but by the time we leave, the area will be clean of any construction debris, traffic control devices, anything.
And you'll repair the broken ones before you leave. That's the big question.
We would repair all broken ones before we leave, yes.
When are you going to put up the signage that goes with the bike lanes? When?
So the signage has been ordered and it's ongoing. We need to do the pavement marking first, then we will do the signage. But
When will the
I cannot
pavement
pin a
marking-
date. I'll get back with you on the date, but it should be within weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. But we can't control it's contractor. It's contractor action, but it should be. The signage has been done, but it should be within a couple of weeks, I'm hoping. Possibly before the end of this month, you should start seeing. The traffic signals last week, the bike signals were operational. If you guys saw that, all bike signals from Southfield to operational. Now we need to complete this week and next week the bike lanes from Evergreen all the way to Berg, and then we'll follow by the signage. So it's coming soon.
And are you going to do any flyers to pass out to the customers of the businesses to explain things?
Yeah, the question is, would there be flyers go out to residents? The answer is yes, we are working, businesses and residents, I believe, Stephanie. So yes, we are working on a flyer. The city will provide us with a flyer and we'll be mailing it out. Also, there will be posters, will be posted at businesses to explain the update. And
when? When?
She's like, when? What's a date?
When? You guys need to understand, construction is hard to pin a date because like today we had a lot of activities scheduled, a train, we had to cancel. Yes, ma'am.
The light that's across, right in front of CVS, I believe it is. It was for our benefit so we wouldn't have to race across the street. Now, I was at that light the other day and it was extremely short in my opinion. We have some real, like at Warwick, the light's long, at Outer Drive, the light's long. This light was quick. And it, you know, I was concerned that people who were either had walkers or something might have trouble, or parents who might have a kid that they're dragging along might have a problem.
Okay, so a statement that the light on, the new light in front of CVS between Royal Fresh Market and CVS is too short. Noted, ma'am. I will check with our traffic signal people later in the week, and we will time it. Usually it's between 15 and 30 seconds, but we will look into it. I promise you.
Will there be some redirection of some of the traffic? I know this one street, when I was turning off of Grand River, this one street, it was like a quick. I had to. There's the center, you know, that you installed, the center island there. I had to hurry up and jump over, but it was if I couldn't even properly get into the center lane to turn. I had to, and that could cause a bad accident, you know, trying to get over to turn down one of the streets. And I think there's a problem on other areas where cars make, even at Ellis Donuts, which is where my street, you got to try to get over. You got people trying to get over, and you still got folks that's trying to hurry up. And so now, I don't know if that needs to be looked at to redirect people whether they can turn at that street or not, in order to make sure that traffic moves smoothly and people are not just rammed into it. Also, I have another question, but I'll wait a little.
So the question is the alignment from side streets to Grand River. With the bump outs, are you, because of the bump outs now, it's hard to turn, or?
There's an island right there, so you have to, as soon as you pass the island, you have to try to jump in the turning lane too quick. And by the time, if you jump in, you've already passed Avon. But if you jump in and you don't get in all the way, you're gonna get hit in the rear. So the island itself, and I know you've been doing it, but the island itself needs, I hate to say this, can probably be realigned to be pushed northwest and be in the middle of these streets that go into Grand River, so people will have an opportunity to pull into the turning lane before they make their turn.
Okay. Again, another question with the alignment in Avon to Grand River, from Avon and to Avon from Grand River. Granville, okay.
So we can, how about this? Between the two of you all, I'd love for us to join them out there right? Because that's the way to clearly know what we're talking about. And then we can see how they can adjust. Because it is dangerous when you're trying to make that turn into a residential. So we'll commit to that. I commit that for you guys, and we'll come up before you guys think I want to be certain to have your contact. And then we'll work that out with you. I got one more question. We got to go on to the next. It's getting dark early. It's getting dark early, y'all. I'm sorry. In the back. Oh, is that Phil? Yeah. You knew that was coming. He knew it was coming.
At Warwick, right? So the flooding is the sewer system in the area gets overwhelmed sometimes. We observe the flooding, and we will be starting tomorrow or the day after cleaning all structures in the stretch. We just added that to the project, and should make the problem go away.
All right. Okay, you're off the hot box right now.
Thank you.
We got some follow-up stuff. Thank you so much. Don't we appreciate when people come out? We're a tough crowd, and I know it, but that's why our community is the great community that it is, because we just don't accept anything, right? So look here, next up, we have my friend, Miss Karla Williamson. Miss Karla Williamson. I know the hard work she does, because I used to be Karla once in my life. She's our District 1 manager here, representing all of these communities here, even our neighbors from O'Hare Park. And so Karla has some good information. Now, I got a couple of things for you. I see handouts on proposal N. That's good. But then I also know that you've got to talk about speed humps and let us know what the update is on that. Okay. Thank you so much, young lady.
Good evening, everyone.
Even.
Again, as Stephanie said, my name is Karla Williamson, Karla with a K, and I am the, sure. I am the District 1 manager with the Department of Neighborhoods through the Mayor's office. So overall, our goal is to assist in getting rid of blight. That's the #1 word. And so blight comes in all kind of ways. It could be in a house that needs to be torn down. It could be in squatters. It could be in just a disconnection for services. It could be advanced not picking up the way that they need to. It could be any number of things, but that is our connection to you as the resident. The first thing I want to speak about, so that we have a chance for everyone to get some handouts, and I have a couple more. I wasn't sure how many people would be here today. But the first thing is speed humps. And so there has been an overwhelming response in reference to speed humps, because what we know happens is when the street gets speed humps, the speeders do what? Go to the next street. And then that street needs speed humps, and then what? They go to the next street. So what we know for sure is that the city of Detroit is not going to turn into a giant speed hump. We're going to have to work on some traffic calming measures and re-educating drivers on responsible driving behavior, and kind of tapping them on the shoulder on what's expected in our neighborhoods. So not only do we have the speed humps, but we're also working with our police department to assist as far as the traffic unit. Someone said, well, you know, Karla, people don't always pay tickets. Well, they don't always pay tickets, but they definitely remember where they got one. It's the first thing they say, oh, I was speeding here, I got a ticket, let me slow down. And so we want to change the behavior. Everyone that has a driver's license has some expectations of driving. And so we want to get to a point where people are educated and just doing the right thing. Right thing. If you would like to request a speed hump for your area, there is a link. We have a District 1 newsletter that comes out every Monday, and that link is attached. It's a lengthy link, and so that's the only reason I'm not going to say it out loud to you now. But I will give you my telephone number before I leave today, and if you text me, I will simply text you the link. The link asks about 4 or 5 questions about why you want the speed hump and some other things around the area. And then the Department of Public Works makes a decision on where they will install. So that's speed humps. Last thing with the speed humps, I want to say that the mayor is attaching additional money to speed humps for the budget for next year. So the amount that we got this year, we should see an increase as far as next year. I'm sorry,
I have
ma'am?
a quick question about the speed hump. Is there a certain criteria that determines yea or nay?
So as far as the criteria that the speed humps originally were under was that it was close to a park or a school. And so they wanted to get the entryways and exit locations for those areas first. And then neighborhoods just began to ask for them. So they kind of spread out a little bit at a time. District 1 got 41 sites that received speed hump installations this time. So we're just looking to see what the criteria will be for the next installation, because they're just about finished around the schools and parks. You're welcome. Are there any more questions? Yes, sir.
I actually had an idea. I was talking to my neighbor about it the other day. Instead of speed humps, the idea of putting like a 5-foot round planter basically in the middle of intersections where there's a 4-way stop. Just because on my street, I'm on Artesian and Keeler, and people just blow right through that intersection all the time. And the idea of like putting an impediment in the way where you have to kind of go around it a little bit just to slow people down.
Those are definitely traffic calming measures, right? And so I don't think that that would be far out of what they would be willing to do to try to calm this traffic down. It seems like everybody bought a charger last week or something and just figured out how it works. They're like everywhere. Like, I don't know what they're doing, but it's amazing. Along with, let's not leave out those fireworks. But I think that's a great suggestion, and I can just take it back to them, because as you said, they can't keep going. They've got to at least slow around to go around it.
And that way everybody doesn't have to go over all these speed humps because everybody else is going to drive normal anyway.
That's right.
And you just kind of go around it.
That's right. Was there like one more question with speed humps? I don't want to get the time thing if I can avoid it. Okay, and again, I'll give my number at the very end. If you would like the link for speed humps, just text me and I'll send it directly back to you. As I said, you can just push the link, fill out the little questions, and then it'll be all the way into the pool. So the second thing is what Miss Stephanie just passed out, which is Proposal N. This is just a 2-sheeter about Proposal N, and on September the 17th, which is not this Thursday, but next Thursday, at our District 1 Thursday meeting, which is a 1-hour meeting. It starts at 5:30. I just encourage everyone to be on that call. You can take it as a call or a Zoom. And the reason I say that is because we'll be delving more into Proposal N. And so I'm really trying to get these 2-page pieces out for information so that persons can come up with some real questions to ask. We're asking the Attorney General to be there and some other departments to see not just how Proposal N could work in the city, but see the long term as far as Proposal N, see the rest of the ideas and the rest of the conversation around what this ask is for this bond. Yes, ma'am.
You know what, I'm for anything that's gonna make the city of Detroit progress, but then too, until we can get this here dumping and this trash not being picked up, and then not them picking up, but to get the people to realize you cannot put anything after the fact. I mean, it's time we got the mayor have to push these people, giving tickets. Enough is enough. You know, I mean, it's to the point, I don't want to hear about they don't have no money, you got to pay this and pay that, regardless of that. We should not have to live in this trash. It's ridiculous.
I absolutely agree, Miss Johnny, because I couldn't see you, but I heard your voice.
Okay.
My glasses up here, that wasn't helping me. But you're absolutely correct. Like, it's no need to jump over that as if it's not something we all see every day. The trash is way too much. And the trash is out there for a couple reasons. We could say that the pandemic has slowed things down, people aren't working. We could also say that people are not educated in how they're putting things out. But what we know for sure is outside of a person's regular residence, people are just dropping large amounts of stuff all over the city. So first I want to let you know that the mayor and the law department is speaking with Advance, going over their contract of what our expectations are, and letting them know kind of a call to the carpet, if you will. These are the expectations of the city and the residents, and if you're not able to do this, then we may have to do something different. We have 2 different companies that service the city right now. Advance is ours, and GFL is on the other side of the city. and they're not having the same issues. So we are asking for a blitz, kind of, especially during that Motor City Makeover time period where they picked up additional illegal dumping that was not a part of Motor City Makeover, but definitely was a part of Motor City Makeover. If you're going to make it look clean, you have to get up everything. So I'm not saying that these things that are in Proposal N are the only things that we need to do, but I have to at least give you the information to let you know this is a suggestion of things that we could do. And so these are 2 pages. I'm not going to go over all of them, but the first one has the 8 goals that Proposal N is proposing. I'm not going to go over all of them. It just has to do with either taking it down or securing it better, making sure that companies that are going to be doing this work either are anchored in Detroit or are hiring Detroiters, and there's a couple more goals. And then on the second page, it's really just talking about the last 6 years and what it's been and what the proposal is moving forward. A lot of people are asking, like, what's a secured house look like? Well, a secured house just simply means that when it rains, it's not going to drip directly on your head. It doesn't mean it won't drip. It just won't drip directly on your head. It means that instead of the plywood being up on the window, now it's going to look a little better and be a little more secure because it'll have like a bulletproof glass on it. Not something that somebody could just take off very easily. And then the third thing is that it's going to be cleaned out. We've gotten a lot of complaints about rodents running out of the sides of houses because they're festering in there. There's food in there, there's stuff in there, things to keep them warm. And so the city will be taking all of those things out so that this property is now a property that is not continuously deteriorating, but is structurally sound so an investment can be made. So I ask and encourage you to read this information. You can also look up Proposal N through the City of Detroit website. And then on the 17th, if you could just have your questions ready so that we can really get some information about Proposal 9, Proposal N, and be able to hear your thoughts. Do y'all have any quick questions? I see 4, so I'm going to just take 4 and then I'll be here this evening. Yes, ma'am.
My question is, who's responsible for the property that's on, like they have fences at these homes and stuff that face the Southfield Freeway? Who's responsible for that, that property that's in back of where they got their fences and stuff? And because you got a lot of dumping going on in these areas and stuff, whose responsibility is it to clean it up along the Southfield Expressway? Because it's a mess.
Well, it's twofold, and it's severely overgrown, so it's like a whole bunch of love needed to even get it where it could be maintained. So over Motor City Makeover, I had a great time with O'Hare Park, and I'm only 5 feet. I stepped into some bushes, and I didn't even realize that it was a sidewalk underneath it. I just simply thought I was going back through some bushes, which I was fine with. But once I found out it was a sidewalk there, then my heart actually sank, because what about the person that hasn't been able to pass on this sidewalk that they knew it was a sidewalk and I didn't? And so we're asking the General Service Department actually to take a tour with us. We talked about this, Ms. Johnny, the other day, to take a tour with us so that they can see what kind of impact that is. It needs to be, so the issue is that a person's fence has greenery, foliage, whatever you call it, vines, a mess growing over their fence. But the city's berm has grown and connected to it. So now the two of them are in sync and have made like a slanted greenway, if you will. So the owner of the property, their fence and that berm right behind their fence, that's their property. They need to cut that down. And then the city needs to maintain the berm, and once both people do that, the sidewalk will be available. So that's what we're working on. It's not even just in one spot on Southfield Freeway. It's the whole thing. So just having to educate homeowners that your property is not just what's in front, it's what's behind. And it's not just what's behind in your beautiful backyard, it's what's behind your beautiful fence. So we will do that. Right here, sir.
Dollar General, when are you going to address that?
The who?
Dollar General. The carts are lined up from the alley almost to the length of the store. There was a semi there today that brought stuff, and they did not load one of those carts.
Okay. So our inspector
It's
is
an ongoing problem.
Yes, our inspector is aware of it. Originally, this is the first explanation I got. Originally, the carts were, because it was not space to go behind, the carts were supposed to be there, but they're supposed to be put on the truck.
Right.
So they're there, you got them ready, you unload the truck, you put the carts on, you take them away.
It doesn't happen.
So now that our inspectors are back, we just have to stay on it, because Dollar General's not trying to stay in compliance. It's going to be us pushing them to do so. It's just like the stores out here that's not coming out and cleaning around their stores in the morning, so when you get there, it's trash all over. It's again kind of educating people on best practices,
Maybe the
and we
city
just have to
come
stay
by
on
and
top
load them
of
all up and take them down to the yard, and they can go pick them up.
And then they have to pay to replace it.
They'll definitely do right then.
That might work. Next question.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, one more thing, Stephanie, can you, when the, contract come up for a vans or any contract, could you speak on our behalf, please? And could she be on the table, be there to speak for us?
What? Oh, look, I'll forever speak on our behalf, but we'll figure out how the city wants to handle that. We'll let the city handle that, Ms. Johnny.
We have one more question.
One more question.
Yeah, you know, I was thinking about that amount, and it says $160,000 for, to rehabbing 8,000 houses. That comes to approximately about $20,000 per property. I mean, I myself rehabbed some terrible houses for like $5,000, $10,000. So I don't know if those numbers seem a little crazy to me. Another major concern that I do have is that once these houses are rehabbed, these 8,000 houses rehabbed, how are those houses going to be given to the people, or not so given, but what's the plan with that? My concern is that a large corporation come in, or some smooth talking person that knows a lot of people come in and get 1,000 of those houses, and then jack the price up and move people in for $100,000. And so I want to have some assurance that, okay, that these houses are going to go to the needy people. They can afford it, right? We ain't trying to price people out of it, but if it's $20,000 for each house across the board, let's just say, and if we giving these families a house for $25,000, or we get somebody back a loan or something, I need to make sure. I want to be sure that it's not going to go to somebody that knows a lot of people that ends up with 4,000 houses, and we still have this problem with a lot of renters and people who don't have a place to go.
So to answer the question, number one, the city also knows that we can't afford to do practices that we didn't have the success we wanted to in the past, and that is by giving organizations large amounts of property that they can't even onboard. That's number one. Number two, this program is not designed to give someone a house. This program is designed to, and it's also not designed to rehab a house. This program is only designed to secure a property so that it doesn't continue to deteriorate. Some properties that are in the city, they have to be demolished because they're not structurally sound anymore. But what we know is that if we can stop the leaks, if we can get the rodents out, and if we can secure the outside of that property, then chances are it's not going to deteriorate, and then a person can come and purchase a home in a neighborhood on their own. This is to get people back one family at a time, not to have an organization or whatever come in and set down a group of people in the city. This is to give people an opportunity to reestablish and continue to stabilize our neighborhoods. So I'll be here. I'm not leaving. I'll be right in the back, and I can answer any questions until the end of the night.
And then,
Karla, what's the best way for people? Yep.
Sorry, the telephone number. My phone number is 313-236-3484. 313-236-3484. You can also email me at Williamson, the letter K, at DetroitMI.gov. Williamson, the letter K, at DetroitMI.gov.
All right, thank you so much, Karla. We appreciate you coming and giving us a heads up on what's going on, particularly with this proposal. And I had a meeting the other day about this, and that's right. We're really concerned about who's going to get these properties. It always sounds good. You talk about cleaning up. It's like, but there's always a bigger story. So we're grateful. Be certain to reach out to Karla to be certain that you're getting the information regarding that Zoom meeting that's coming up on the 16th, Karla?
Every Thursday at 5:30, but that one is on the 17th.
17th. All right.
Not this Thursday,
But the following Thursday. Very good. So, all right. Next thing, come on up, Frank. It's important for you guys to know for our... DTE. Oh, DTE. Lord Jesus. Come on up here, DTE. I just skipped all over DTE. I know. I was like, and as much grief as I caused DTE, I should have some flowers. But you guys have been, they stepped up to the plate. There's not a time that I've called them and said, there's this concern with this resident or there's this issue, that they weren't right there addressing it immediately, taking me, walking me through the process so that I can understand it. My next life, I'm going to get a job at DTE because that's how much I've learned. But here you go, sweetheart. Thank you so much, Julie.
Okay, thanks. Okay, well, and I'm going to be real quick. I do have to say, when I saw the agenda, and I live in Detroit as well, and saw that Janice was going to be here, I'm like, you do know what time the sun sets.
I do know.
So anyhow, so real quick, my name is Julie Joswiak. I am a fellow Detroiter, and I am the DT, kind of a liaison with the city. Like Karla's back there. I work with Department of Neighborhoods and Council, and kind of help coordinate whatever DTE is doing in the city. Before Brian Valance, our gas manager, takes the microphone, I just wanted to spread the word, get the word out to anybody you know that's having difficulty paying their bills, especially because of COVID, to have them call DTE. Just call the 1-800 number, 477-4747. We have trained people this year, especially to help people sign up for the State Emergency Relief Fund, for all these funds that are out there. Usually by this time of year, those funds are gone, but because of COVID, there's like $20 million there. The thing is, though, it's going to evaporate by September 30th, so that's kind of the fiscal year. So again, anybody you know, the last thing DT ever wants to do is shut someone off. There's money, there's payment plans. They've really worked on this year. So again, just spread that word if you know anybody that's hurting or having a hard time keeping up. Okay, so that said, back to the construction, and as Emilio put it well, no one likes it. But you guys are getting a lot done, so Brian's going to give an update on all this gas main replacement and meter move-outs that's happening in the neighborhood.
Hey, thanks, Julie. I want to thank Pam and Stephanie for the feedback that they do provide through all you guys. It does get to us, and hopefully we're taking care of whatever questions are usually their issues, right? Something didn't go quite as planned. Just real quickly, we do plan on being done with all of the work inside the houses by November 20th. We've done almost 1,000 services of about 2,500 total that we're going to do. We're making a lot of progress. The crews are out actively, and I'll just read off the streets. We're on Warwick between Linden and Kendall, Piedmont between Finkel and Linden, Ashton between Chalfont and Linden, Evergreen between Finkel and Linden, Outer Drive between Evergreen and Minnock, Glastonbury between Finkel and Linden, and Plainview between Linden and Kendall. So that's where the crews are actively at today. Once they finish all that up, then they're going to move on to the other areas and finish up by November 20th, as I said. The restoration work should be shortly behind that. Currently, the restoration contractors are right in directly behind the service crews, we call it. So there's very little delay, about a week or so delay from when the meter gets moved outside to the concrete or the grass is being replanted. Miller Pipeline, who's our subcontractor doing the gas main work, they should be all done and out of the area by the 2nd of November. So that should all get cleaned up shortly behind. And then again, like I said earlier, the restoration work is about a week behind. We do have permission to work all winter long on sidewalks, as long as we meet the specifications from the City of Detroit Inspection Department. It's a little bit different process, but we will work all winter long unless it gets really bad and really cold and we can't do it. But typically we can work until it's about 20 degrees or so, and do pay a little extra for what we call a winter mix, but we'll continue working as long as the weather allows us to work. So we do anticipate hitting all of these targets, even with the 9 weeks off that our field crews took due to the COVID when it first came out. So we're started 9 weeks behind the 8 ball, but we believe we're going to pick that up and finish on time. Okay.
Great. All right. Yeah. One question from the audience. That's all I can afford. But we have one question because we've been trying to get clarity on. So how many? Okay, I know I got guests from all over, but in Rosedale Park, where we're getting our work done, they've already come through your block. Did you get the flyer that tells you how to take care of your lawn restoration and even your island? Did any of you who've gotten all that done get that information?
Yes.
Okay.
Stuck to my door.
Yeah, stuck to your door. All right.
So I'm glad to hear that.
See,
That's
I know
what's
you need
supposed
that.
to happen, right?
You got that because they left you guys are done. I don't think you're done with my block yet, so I haven't gotten that. But I did get you're putting out the card that says, we're done with your meter installation. You get that little postcard, little kicker card, but I haven't got one that talks about restoring the yards or anything like that. So I'm glad to know that you got it. We just want to be certain that you guys stay on top of that, and if we could get like an electronic copy, I think we might have asked for that.
I think Pam said earlier that somehow she got it. And
Yeah. She scanned it. She scanned it.
And I sent our standard one
Okay.
to you guys, but there's a contractor one as well.
Okay, all right, yeah, we like that contract. All right, DT, great job, my apologies, I appreciate you all. Good work. Okay, next. So the way I decide to do my meetings, I like for the guests to come. When I was always a guest at y'all's meetings, y'all always want to make me last. I want to put the guests first. And then you handle family business. They don't need to know about all our business. So with that being said, come on down, Frank Raven. This is our treasurer extraordinaire. He's going to come and he's going to share with particularly our Rosedale Park residents that we're being responsible with your dues. We're doing all the right things. And we appreciate the hard work that Frank puts into balancing our books. Frank Raven.
This is quick. As of today, we have 507 dues. Households have paid their dues. So we got 100 to go to match last year. The postcards are pretty effective, so I'll probably be doing another one in October, I'm thinking. And that'll shake some money loose. Actually, I'm kind of encouraged with everything that's been going on. The dues were actually in pretty good shape, I think. But financially, we're in good shape. We've got money in the bank, and we can pay our bills, and new programs that are coming along we can fund. So we're in good shape that way. But encourage neighbors that haven't paid their dues to go ahead and pay them. So there's about 100 people out there that paid last year that haven't paid yet this year. So some people wait till about November.
Snowplow, that always reminds me when we need our snowplow.
Yeah, when the snowplow comes through. Other than that, I really don't have anything unless anybody's got a question about something.
Any questions for Frank Raven, our treasurer? Going once, going twice. Thank you all so much. Thank you. All right, Ms. Kimberly. Yes, thank you. All right, now this is it. See, I had to have Frank come first so that everybody was comfortable with our next presentation because this is so important. Here you go, Ms. Kimberly.
Okay, good evening. So we're going to vote tonight on a proposal to create a scholarship, an annual scholarship for graduating seniors going on to college, some of our youth residents in Rosedale Park who've done a good job in high school, been active in the community, and need a little support for the next step, that next milestone, which is college. The way that the scholarship will work, if we vote to approve it tonight, is it will be an annual scholarship, two actually, $1,250 apiece, so a total of $2,500 annually will go to these two scholarships. There will be an application process, and then the award will be announced. We're actually going to do the first one in January, and then after that it will be every fall as students go on to college. The $2,500 is about 10% of our total annual expenses. It is funded. We are not taking this money from other programs. You will still see all the services, all the events that we always do as an organization. This is something that will be added. It's not something that's taken away from other events or activities that we do. So if we do approve it tonight, the first one will be, we're going to open up the application process right away, take applications, make up until November 30th, and then give the award in January for the winter semester. We didn't want to wait a whole nother year. Want to get this started right away. So are there any questions before we take the vote? Yes?
What's the criteria established for receiving the scholarship?
Okay, so the question...
So I'll get it all out, be quick. What's the criteria? What committee determines who gets it and who does not? And if they do not receive the scholarship, is there communication going to be sent to them explaining why?
Okay, so three-part question. The first part was what are the criteria? The second was who makes the decision, and the third was will we communicate with the students who didn't get it, why they didn't receive it. Okay, so first part, I cannot see my notes because it's dark, so bear with me.
Come stand over here, Kim.
But they have to be a graduating senior. They need to be a resident of Rosedale Park. Household dues should be paid. Minimum GPA of 3.0, a student essay. They have to turn in their most recent report card and documentation that they've been accepted to a post-secondary institution. So those are the criteria. The decision makers will be the youth committee, our recently created youth committee. We'll review all of the applications and pick the two most deserving seniors. And yes, we do hope to communicate with everyone. You know, the people who want it, obviously they will be notified. There will be an announcement. And for those who didn't, I think, you know, assuming we don't get a ton of applications, if we get a reasonable amount, I'm sure we can reach out to the ones that didn't as well. Yes, one more question.
When you say youth committee, you don't mean minors, do you mean adults?
No, it's adults who are on the youth committee. What we're trying to do is be more inclusive of the youth in our community. So what we did recently was establish a youth committee. To focus on outreach to youth, bringing youth into the organization. If you look around here, there are no youth here. These are mostly older people, retired people. We want to incorporate some of the younger people. That's right, but that's not all of the community, right? I think we want to have our youth active. I mean, I have 2 high school students. They both have signed up to be poll workers. We want to include them. We want them to know they have a place in this community, and we want to support them, frankly. So we've established a youth committee, so this is one of the initiatives of that.
Right, and I think, because you read it, I've been multitasking. But one thing that's important, because I was one of the people who recommended we do this. When I became the president, I was like, there were 2 things that I felt like we could do better. And that's encourage our young people to become more civic-minded and to start stepping up and being a part of. And it's not enough just to tell them to do it, but we want to show them that they are important and that they matter. And what way to do that, and then to encourage them to do good in school, and then give them some support financially. So that's kind of where this whole thing stemmed from. And when we're looking at the applications, we'll be looking for those young people who have partnered with us on some of our projects. And they can be voluntold. Let's be clear about that. Because some kids don't even want to come whether their mamas ask them to come or not. My children who are not eligible, let's be clear. I don't think there are any of board members are trying to get money for their kids. I want to be clear about that. My boy's not eligible, wouldn't have been. I wouldn't have allowed them to be on it. But the community sees my boys working. They're out there doing the cleanups. They're out there helping seniors. And these are the types of young people that we're looking for. And we want them to share their story with their neighbor. Yo, man, if you go help shovel Miss So-and-so snow, you might be eligible for the scholarship that we have here in Rosedale Park. So that's just kind of the heart behind it. I just wanted to share that with you all. But we do all things decently and in order, and so we couldn't just do it because it's all of our money. So we had to take a vote on that, and this is for the Rosedale Park residents. We're ready to take that vote?
I think we're ready to take the vote.
Are any outstanding questions?
Was there one more?
Okay, all right.
Okay.
We will try to see. Okay. For Rosedale Park residents, all in favor of creating this scholarship? Am I taking over your job? I'm sorry. You
go
know
ahead.
I do all this.
Go ahead.
In favor of creating a scholarship for our graduates from high school that reside in Rosedale Park whose parents are paid members, all in favor? Raise your hand. Okay, those opposed? Woo!
Okay.
Yes, have it.
Very good. Look for the announcement in January.
All right. All right, thank you so much. All right, guys, we got to get out of here. Ooh, we can't see. Okay, so the hospitality committee, this is something you guys can do. Look here. We want to do some type of memorial for the residents that we've lost here in Rosedale Park. We lost a number of people, guys, from block captains to a couple, the Carmichaels. It hit us hard, and so we're looking for suggestions. Do we put up a plaque somewhere? Do we do a bench and have the names etched on it? We'd like to hear from you all. So, where's Alex? Alex is running our. There's gonna be a form we're gonna put on our website. We're gonna ask you all to give us some recommendations on how we should do that because the night is drawing long. The last thing, and you guys have this on here, announcement, we have a blood drive. During the pandemic, the Red Cross has been struggling to get donors. And so we stepped up. This will be our third blood drive right here. We encourage you all to come out if you're able. Share that with your neighbors and your family. And the last thing,
the blood drive?
Oh, the blood drive is on here, but it's on September 16th. Wednesday, September 16th, right here, the North Rosedale Park Community House. And it's going to be, they'll take their first appointment at 9 and their last appointment, 9 a.m. and their last appointment at 2:30.
You're encouraging your registration?
Huh?
You're encouraging
Yes, yes. Yes, we're encouraging all of that. And we'll have it on our website because we have the flyer. We just didn't have a chance to print it. My bad. So next up, this is the last thing that I have to say, and then we're going to get out of here. We are working on a contractor directory, particularly for those of us who live in Rosedale Park and being in this historically designated community. It gets tricky to find contractors that can do the type of work that we're supposed to have done on our homes. And so we're asking people to send us recommendations, fill it out on the index card. I see President Emeritus is walking around with an index card. If you have somebody you'd like to share with us, we'd love to include them. We'll do some vetting. But
I just need to know
that's
what
it. I appreciate you all coming on.
so people can submit.
That's amazing. Nobody can't stop us. Look here. God bless you all. Have a safe trip home tonight. Yes.
We have about 16 people who sent